Action! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Today, I'm looking at a very requested topic from you guys. For the one and only person who requested it, here's the video just for you, my friend. Is the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 still relevant today, and is it worth buying it? Or should you just jump into the 75mm professional goodness? One of the key features of the 75mm f1.2 is basically the f1.2. The aperture on this lens is so shallow. In the Fujifilm lineup, there is only the 50mm f1.0 that is better than this. And there are other manual focusing lenses that go to 0.9 or something like that. But this is incredible because this lens at f1.2 is sharp, edge to edge. And everything is, it just looks good, looks perfect. I mean, you're looking at it right now. So how does it look? Do you like it? I certainly, damn sure like it. The f1.2 aperture allows you to let a lot of light hit your sensor. You can shoot in really dark conditions and you won't have to raise your ISO too much, which is good for the overall image quality. Plus the fact that the image is quite sharp, crisp. I mean, it's not surgically sharp. It looks good sharp. I don't know how to explain this. I just love it. While the 85mm only goes down to f1.8 and it's not that sharp when it's really wide open. The 85mm weighs only 485 grams and the 75 weighs 670 grams, which makes the 85 a little bit lighter. But are you going to carry this thing all day around your neck or in your hand? If the answer is yes, then maybe it makes sense to have a lighter setup, but I don't know if that's worth, you know, just giving up on the 75. It's up to you though. Let's talk about build quality right now. Well, here we have a winner, the 75mm. And this is by far. Generally, I feel like both lenses are very well built, but I feel like the 75mm has the edge on this. And it's not only because it's written Pro on it or something like that, but it feels more created with the professional in mind. Everything about it seems more well curated, more as if it's given more attention to the details. And generally, as far as the build quality is concerned, although the 85mm is pretty good, it feels good, it's, you know, it's a good piece of metal and glass in your hand. The 75mm feels just better. Congrats to Viltrox for doing that because they've raised the bar. The 75mm has weather sealing, but to be entirely honest, I have tested the 85mm in rain and pretty shitty conditions back in Ireland, and it did a great job and it's still working and produces really good images. So I'm not sure if weather sealing is that big of a problem, but if you are worried about it, the 75mm has weather sealing and well, it gives you peace of mind. It has an aperture ring, and as I always say, once you go aperture ring, you never go back to like normal lenses. I don't know, it just feels weird. Recently I saw a comment of one of my older videos about the 85mm. This guy said something about the image quality and about the 85 losing image quality and contrast with the years. So I'm not sure if that's possible, and I haven't noticed like this big of a difference from the beginning to now, but I cannot really test that, and I don't know how to test it really. But if somebody can confirm that or say it's bullshit, it will be interesting like to talk about it. In terms of image quality, the 85mm is good, but at f1.8 sometimes the image is not as crisp as you would like or as you would think. It gets a little bit soft, and I usually shoot at around f2, f2.2, f2.5, if not f2.8, to get like a really good image whenever I shoot portraits. If I'm not shooting a portrait and I don't really care if it's, you know, crisp, like if you shoot street photography, I'm okay with my images not being crisp. But if you're shooting like product photography or portraiture or stuff like that, sometimes you want the eye to feel in focus. And with the 85, sometimes it would be a little bit difficult. That's why most of the times I would generally take like 10 to 15 shots. While with the 75 millimeters, that's a whole other story. You just push the shutter a few times just because, you know, you may never know if the person, the subject, is closing their eyes or not, or you just usually take more than one shot. But generally, they're pretty good. Like from the very beginning, I don't feel like I have to overshoot with this lens. I feel like it just gets it right. But don't be discouraged. Here are two images shot at f1.8 with both the 85 and the 75. If you feel like you see a huge difference, please let me know in the comments, because I don't really feel like that. The thing with the 75, it's that it seems to be very good, especially as soon as the autofocus locks in. Once the autofocus locks in, it just stays there and it gets you the best results that it can deliver. The 85, on the other hand, it requires you to take a few extra shots, as I said. Now, if you only work on passion projects and street photography where you can actually give a little bit more time, and probably you're trying to tell a story, and if sometimes you get like a less in focus image, less crisp image, I feel like the 85 is good enough and you don't have to go and spend the money. But if you are shooting on a more professional level and you have to deliver good quality images to your clients, and you have to be precise, and you have to deliver the best of the best, I feel like the 75 makes more sense. You know what I mean? If you shoot events, if you shoot weddings, if you shoot headshots for, I don't know, actors or CEOs or stuff like that, I feel like the 75 can do a better job. But it's not to say that the 85 is not good, because I have shot professionally with this lens for the past, I don't know, 3 years or something like that, and it's been going really, really good. But as I always say, it's more about the what you do, what you shoot, how you shoot, and based on that you get to make a decision whether you should buy a certain piece of equipment or not. Let's talk about autofocus, because this is an interesting thing. Now, disclaimer, up to this point I haven't updated the 75 millimeters on purpose, because I wanted to see how it performed before, and I want to see how it performs after. From my tests, the 75 millimeters seems to be a little bit lazy, tends to take a little bit more time to focus. A few times it happened that it would ghost a little bit, you know, goes back and forth with the focus, but generally is really good. The 85, on the other hand, it's more snappy, so it gets focus really fast, but sometimes it doesn't stick with the subject. Also, the 75 millimeter, when you focus on a subject, it tends to be smoother, while the 85 millimeters goes really fast on the focus and does that. You can try to tweak it with the camera's settings, but still, you would still feel that. So in terms of autofocus, I would say, I'm not sure which one is the best. I would say the 75 because it's a little bit smoother, but that's in video. In photos, on the other hand, the autofocus, I feel like the 85 does a little bit of a better job, but that's because I feel it's snappier. And this is before updating the firmware on the 75 millimeters. So to be honest, I think that the only reason you would want to get the 85 instead of the 75 is budget. If you don't have the resources, then I guess it makes totally sense to get the 85, and it will still do a great job. Otherwise, everything points toward the 75. You know, you cannot be wrong with it. It's perfect. Image quality is incredible. It's crisp, it's sharp, it's perfect. At the end, everything comes to what you do and how much money you have. You're a professional and you know you can invest in this lens and you're gonna get your money back. buy the 75mm. You're a beginner, you're on budget, and you work mostly on passion projects. You take photographs for your friends, your family, street photography and stuff like that. 85 makes more sense. But if you have the money, just get the 75. Worst case scenario, if you don't like it, if you don't feel like it's good enough for you, you can always sell it. There's also the 10mm difference, but I don't know, I just feel like you get a little bit closer to the subject with the 75mm, but it's not, I don't feel like it's neither a pro nor a con. I guess if you're more of an introvert, I suppose the 85 is better because you tend to stay a little bit further from your subject. But other than that, yeah. Hopefully after you've watched this video, you've made up your mind. Let me know if you bought the 75 or the 85, or if you intend to buy one of those. If you'd like to see a difference between the 85mm Viltrox and the 90mm Fujinon, you should check this video out. Because it's pretty interesting to see the difference between those two. Also, there's many examples there.